I'd like to call to order the regular meeting of the St. Louis Local Development Company. This is Thursday, July 11th at 3 o'clock. Can we get a roll call, please?
Sure. Director Glee,
Here.
Director McCreary,
Present.
Director Peoples,
Here.
Director Seitz,
Here.
and Chair Gilbert.
Here. Thank you. We have a quorum. First item on the agenda is approval of the minutes of the May 9th regular board meeting. Do I have a motion to approve? Can't hear it. Something.
You were frozen.
Yeah, my end.
You're back
Looked
now.
like Dave was. Okay. Do I
I
have
move
a
that we
motion?
approve the minutes.
Okay.
So
Do
moved.
we have a second?
Second, Sites.
We have a moved by Director Peoples, seconded by Director Seitz. Can we poll the board, please?
Director Glee,
I'm going to abstain. I was not there at that meeting.
Director McCreary,
Yes.
Director Peoples,
Yes.
Director Seitz,
Aye.
and Chair Gilbert.
Aye. Okay, the minutes are approved. Next on the agenda is Resolution 24 LDC 08. Zach, are you going to take 08 and 09 together?
Yes, I will.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, so these are two requests for same project. If you all remember back, going back to, I guess, 2017 was the original date, we had a request from Pieces as they were beginning their first location over on South 8th Street. And now they are growing to a place where they need to move to a new location and open up a larger space that also includes a new cafe called Antagonist Cafe. That was also another loan that we saw before this board for Protagonist Cafe, also located in Soulard. These two loan requests will help them purchase inventory, working capital, and then furniture, fixture, and equipment. They're also purchasing the building through a loan through Together Credit Union, or sorry, yes, Together Credit Union. And the total project is a little under 1.5 million, with our two loans together totaling 275,000, excuse me. The loans overall cash flow well. They have been doing well to the point where they need to expand. I should also mention that these loans will be secured by guarantees from all of the different business entities, along with the owners of the business, and then they will also be secured by a second deed of trust on the property that they are purchasing. I don't believe I see the owners on to speak about the business, but I'm happy to answer any questions that the board has on these two requests.
We did have everyone at the loan committee meeting. This is one of those businesses that when we financed it originally, nothing like it was in our region, and they've done an excellent job. They've really paid off one of our loans, I believe, and the other one is almost paid off. They've performed very well, and this is an opportunity in that building that's the corner of 12th and Lynch Street. They're only a block from the Together Credit Union. They can certainly keep an eye on their loan. But it's seems like a good location right across from the parking lot there at Anheuser-Busch.
And I'll add to that, the move itself too, they don't expect to have any loss of business since it's not too far away, and they also consider themselves a destination place, given that they're so unique. So they don't expect the move to affect any of their business.
Are the owners present?
I do not see them on.
They were on for our credit meeting. And,
Yes.
I was very impressed with the direction they are. That we were a little leery to a certain extent when we started working with these people. That as Laura mentioned, there was nothing like it that we could compare with it in this environment. And they had done an extensive amount of research with it and visited it, several cities, and determined what to do and what not to do, and brought it into this environment, into this business, and it's turned out to be quite successful. I expressed my appreciation for the opportunity to work with these people, and I'm glad we made the choice
Lost my
to
sound.
support them. So I would recommend that we proceed forth with it and continue to support them. They've proven themselves in several occasions in our environment.
Okay, so Dave, are you making a motion to approve both of these resolutions? Can we do them together, or do we need to do them separately?
You can do them together if you'd like.
Yeah, I think they're all, it's basically the same information that we reviewed at the loan committee, just split into two transactions. So is there a resolution to approve 24 LDC 09 and 24?
Well, I move to approve.
LDC 10.
I'll second it.
Okay. Jim, you might want to take over this for me because I'm having unstable internet connections and everybody's freezing up.
Okay.
That might be the best way
If I can-
forward.
Laura,
can
can I
interrupt?
make a clarification? I'm sorry. It's LDC 24, LDC 8 and 9.
Okay, sorry. Thank you. 8 and 9. So, Jim,
Okay, so that's been moved by Director McCreary, seconded by Director Gleat. Can you pull the board?
Sure. Director Gleat,
Aye.
Director McCreary,
Aye.
Director Peoples,
Aye.
Director Sites,
Aye.
and Chair Gilbert.
aye.
All right, it's been moved and seconded and properly approved. So looks like next on the agenda is LDC number 24-LDC 10 for Better Weekdays. So I guess, Zach, are you gonna present that one?
Yes. So this resolution is to present a loan modification and extension for Better Weekdays. This loan was originally made back in December of 2016. It was $250,000. And this loan modification would extend it out to, I believe it's 2029 on here. And I believe Linda, Daryl, and I believe also Chris Motley is on the call as well, if they would like to expand on anything else, whether it be in the resolution or the extension agreement that was sent out to everyone.
So Chris, do you want to add anything to the to kind of explain where you're at?
Yeah, sure. Thanks again for having me. The only thing I would build on to what Zach said is that even though the expiration is to 2029, it basically is a buildup of the amount to be repaid starting from the soonest is 18 months from now. And then it sort of scales up, just incentivizing me and my team to execute, to get the best terms in the shortest period of time of repayment. And then it scales up to in excess of even the original loan if it stays outstanding for 5 years.
Yes, and that schedule is listed on page 2 of the loan modification agreement for everyone to reference.
So I think the staff feels this is our best option, given the circumstances. That correct, Zach?
Yes.
Okay. Are there any other questions from the board?
I think there's some other lenders involved, as I understand it, and we're all trying to be on the same page. There will probably be an interlender agreement or everybody recognizing everyone else.
Yes, the big one is the Missouri Technology Corporation, which is listed a little bit further down from that same page that I mentioned on page 2. But yes, trying to work on having pretty similar terms on what we're working on here.
Laura, I can hear you fine if you want to take over. I don't mind doing it, but
Well, but it'll go back and forth. We'll see. Okay. So we have a resolution 24 LDC 10. Is there a motion to approve?
I'll make the motion. Sites.
Is there a second? I need a second.
Somebody has to do it so we can vote. I'll do it. It's Chris. Second.
Yeah. All right. It's been moved and seconded.
Jim, I think you should take
You
over.
both again,
Laura's
Laura.
cutting out.
Yeah.
Been moved by Sites, seconded by Peoples. So will you poll the board for a vote?
Sure. Director Gleat,
Aye.
Director McCreary,
Aye.
Director Peoples,
Aye.
Director Sites,
Aye.
Director Rabu, looks like he joined.
Abstain. I'm trying to.
Okay, and Chair Gilbert.
Aye.
Okay, it's been moved, seconded, and properly approved. So we will move on to LDC number 11. And I think that is Chris taking over for that.
That is me. Okay, I hope you all have resolution 24 LDC 11 in front of you. This resolution seeks your approval for the fiscal year 2025 budget. That budget for the local development company covers the fiscal year, which is July 1 of 24 through June 30th of 25. It's attached for your reference. The budget contains the annual fee payable to St. Louis Development Corporation for administrative expenses. We're recommending, as staff, we're recommending that fee be approved at $30,000. For your reference, that has been $30,000 since 2018. Going back to 2010, it was $75,000 from 2010 to 2014. It dropped down to $50,000 from 15 to 17, and as I said, it's been $30,000 since 2018. Just a little bit of background. St. Louis SLDC provides office facilities, staff, operating support, and professional services to the local development company to carry out its corporate purpose and its responsibilities as a certified development company for the United States Small Business Administration. What SLDC does for LDC provides the services, it provides people, it provides staffing overhead. And they're covered in a administrative agreement that is renewed every 5 years. What we come to you today to do is to fund one of those years. We've done it every year since I can remember. As I said, 30,000. It's on the lowest, it is the lowest that we've requested from you. And we ask for your approval. If there's any questions, I sure can answer them.
Hearing no questions, I will entertain a motion to approve this resolution.
So moved, McCrary.
Second, Gilbert.
All right, it's been moved by Director McCreary, second by Director Gilbert. We pull the board.
Director Gleep,
Aye.
Director McCreary,
Aye.
Director Peoples,
Aye.
Director Sites,
Aye.
Director Rabu,
Aye.
and Chair Gilbert.
Aye.
Okay, it's been properly moved, seconded, and approved. So, Chris, looks like you're up again with status of accounts.
Yes, thank you for that approval. We're in business for one more year. The financials that I sent out to you earlier today are for the period ending June 30th, 2024. Just a quick caveat, these are unaudited numbers. Though I can tell you in the past, we generally don't have anything. The only thing that happens sometimes is there's something that didn't accrue that needs to be accrued, but generally speaking, these will be your final numbers. Of course, you'll see or have access to the audited numbers when they happen. So it is for the month ending, actually 12-month ending June. Your revenue for the month was $2,700. You didn't have any expenses for that month, which means your $2,700 revenue was your net income. That brings our ending fund balance down, still in the negative, but moving in the right direction, a little over 97,000. Like I said, on the negative side, which came from 122. So we're going right. We did close one loan this month, Harvey's Coffee and Cocktail, that $100,000, which means your portfolio consists of 82 loans at just over 11 million in principal outstanding on those 82. I break down what those 82s consist of down below. The 53 are the normal, what I call normal in-house loans at 5.6 million. Then we still have some residual 135 loans that we did out of that small business resource program. We still have 10 that did not repay. There's 33,000 on those 10 that are outstanding. It will be my intention to bring those and a few others back to the board next month to write those off. Mark them as non-performing. I don't like to use the word write-off because we don't. I like the borrowers to know that we're still coming after them to the extent that we can. Anyway, 19 SBA loans, almost 5.4 million in principal outstanding on those 19 SBA loans. Looking at your delinquency, if you look at principal outstanding to principal delinquent, you're at a little under 10. If you look at loans delinquent to loans outstanding, you bump up above 11. If you throw in those 10 small business resource loans, it does get crazy. On the loans outstanding, obviously, goes up close to 30%. But if you look over to the right, the $33,000 doesn't make a lot of difference. It goes from 9.8 to 10.11 delinquency rate. Been tracking the loan write-offs for a long while. Since March of 01, we wrote off, since that time, we wrote off 88 loans at almost 4 million in principal write-off. The good news is we've collected on some of those 88. We've collected 21 of the fully, and we've collected an additional 20 on additional 20 loans. Actually, so we've collected after we wrote off 1.229 million. So your loss of loans since March of 01 is 67 loans at 2.686 million in principal loss. Last thing on that page is your the aging of the loans, and it's identical to last month. You have 8 that are in the 91 plus, and you have the rest are under 31 days delinquent. Current or under 31 days is more appropriate. The second sheet is the financial statement. And it proves that what I told you is true, that you started the year at a negative. You look down at the bottom of the, over there on the left, you'll see that the beginning fund balance was negative 122. Had 54.6 in income, and you paid, or you owe St. Louis Development Corporation 30. So all that added together, you come up with a negative fund balance of $97,483.97. You can see over to the right that accounts payable to St. Louis Development Corporation is 180, and that affords us the ability to carry that negative fund balance till we can get it cleaned up. Now on to the funds that we have and things that we do with those funds. Top of the sheet, you have funds available, 4.1 million. You have committed prior to this month, 500,000. Some of those will probably need to come back to you as they're aging there, but it is my understanding that all are legit deals, so we want to keep those funds committed. You committed 2 deals today, Pieces and Antagonists. Those total 275. So if all of them come in today and I close all the loans today, you'd still have over 3.3 million in funds available to lend out. And the 3.3 is, the next sheet just breaks it down. Virtually everything that we have are pools of money that have been original loans, programs, and funds that have been repaid to us. You can see that the different type up there and the commitments that we have toward them. And as I said, 3.3 cash available in the bank, available to lend. The last 3 sheets, your delinquency report, nothing has changed from a standpoint of we didn't add anybody, we didn't take anybody away. The only change would be that we're now, since I presented 2 months further down the road, we set up, I believe, on the second sheet, I made a note there that Linda and Laura, I believe, have a meeting on the 25th of July with Chris Goodson. Linda got an email from John at St. Louis Apparel. The business is closed, but he's expecting, he's saying, we got orders. We're gonna work this out, and I'm gonna get back in there. I'm gonna go back into business. I'm only repeating what I've been told. I'm not vouching for it, but that is the report from St. Louis Apparel and from Evolution St. Louis. The final delinquency sheet is the SBA, which the good news is there that they are all current and we're in good shape with them. That is what I have. If there's any questions, please feel free to ask.
At a St. Louis Apparel, or is he going to open as a different company, or what's kind of the?
I don't know if he gave Linda many details. He's real good about getting back with her, but I don't think he gave her any details. Linda, if you're there, I would appreciate your comment.
No, he didn't really explain what the plan was, other than at some point he hoped to start up operations again after he got the additional investment. That's all I know.
And Chris, maybe we should have had this conversation in May, but this being our year end, should we have possibly written off some of this?
Yeah.
So it reflects in our year end, or is that not a big deal? Or
Jim, my intention is to bring it back, is to come before you next month and present write-offs effective June 30th.
Okay.
So we are going to do it in the near future, and we will make it effective June 30th for my fiscal year. Thank you very much.
I got you.
Yeah. Who does our audit, by the way?
Commercial Trelaw is the lead, and then we have minority participation with Jeffrey Randall and Associates. They can take up to 40, depending upon their availability, they can take up to 47 or 48%, but no less than they always require 25%.
Any other questions for Chris?
Well, I have a question for the staff. Maybe you can help me out with it, but no, I don't. You proceed on. I do have some questions about some things that are going on with the SLDC.
For a later time in the meeting?
Well, whenever, before we close this meeting.
Okay. All right. Well, then, thank you, Chris. We'll move on to Zach with an update on the loan activity.
Yeah, so since we've hit the end of a fiscal year, to give a recap of what was all funded in last year. So we had 5 different loans funded for $1,551,000. 250 of that was, or 250,000 of that was for revolving loan funds, with the others being 504 loans. Looking into the future, we have a pretty good closing part of our pipeline. Right now, it's at a little above 5.4 million in loans that are closing and in various states, whether it be trying to complete construction or gathering documents. And hopefully, we'll get some of those off that closing part of our pipeline here pretty soon. And then kind of as an ask for the board members, we're always looking for more loans to present, especially if we can get more in the city. And so if you have anybody who we could talk to, we'd be happy to, whether it be bankers, attorneys, or anybody else who works with businesses. Happy to meet with them and speak more about how we can help with their businesses. So happy to also answer any questions on our pipeline if anybody has them.
Okay. So the next item is other business. So I guess, Dave, do you want to ask some questions or?
Yeah, basically, I'm curious as to, Ann and I both have been in contract underwriting for many, many years. Well, Ann is young. But anyway, there's a contractor funding program that's in process that has been going on for some time. I think primarily for the North St. Louis segment of society, which I fully agree with, that needs to be funded. But I'm just curious as to how those are being underwritten and by whom. And I was also interested in the North St. Louis business programs that Mayor Jones put together about a year ago. Who's underwriting those, and what kind of success rate is the SLDC seeing with those programs?
Okay. So Director McCreary, this is Neil Richardson, President of the St. Louis Development Corporation. Good seeing you again, sir. I came in on the back end of your question here, but it sounds like you're asking about a couple programs that SODC has been in partnership with CDFIs across the city of St. Louis to provide access to capital for small businesses, nonprofits, contractors, and suppliers. So there are 2 programs that SODC received funding from the American Rescue Plan Act to provide support to small businesses and nonprofits. One program is Scale Up STL. It is a program that we have in partnership with the St. Louis Community Credit Union. So we are providing approximately $2.5 million grant to the St. Louis Community Credit Union for the purpose of providing loans to small businesses and nonprofits at or below the current market rate. So all the way as low as 1.5% below market. The St. Louis Community Credit Union are underwriting those transactions. A portion of the grant that we provided to them will be used to bring down the cost of the interest rate and the interest amount that's paid on those loans. A portion is also used to pay their administrative staff to help move the program forward. So administrative costs. So that's the Scale Up STL program in partnership with St. Louis Community Credit Union, and they're managing the underwriting associated with that program. I can share with the board the link to the information, but also share a one-pager of the Scale Up STL program that provides the rates and terms for the various type of businesses that can qualify for this capital. So we are looking at real estate loans, construction loans, small business operating loans, and obviously based on the type of business and the type of capital that they're seeking, the rates and terms will vary. So that's the Scale Up program. We also are partnering, so that program has recently launched and was funded actually last week.
We're new into the deal.
Yeah, we are new to tea on that. But it took us time to set the criteria, understand how the St. Louis Community Credit Union can leverage those funds in conjunction with other deposits that they receive to make loans out to these small businesses and nonprofits while utilizing the capital that we're providing to help as a loan loss reserve and help mitigate the risk for those businesses. The other program is Mobilize STL. That product is at 4% that we are partnering with RISE, Community Development Financial Institution, or CDFI, to facilitate that program. That program is being utilized as a way to support the suppliers and contractors that may have a major contract with a large anchor institution and or a general contractor. So if they're a small subcontractor looking to cover mobilization costs, purchase materials, those sort of things that are associated with mobilizing on taking on a larger project, we are able to utilize RISE CDFI, because they're doing the underwriting, is able to use the executed contract as the collateral for the underwriting on that. So they're able to work directly with that borrower as well as the individuals in which they're contracted with to ensure that they mitigate, their risk there, and that dollars are flowing back to the CDFI as the contract is being paid down. That program is still under development and has not fully launched. However, we do have a website up, developed St. Louis /Mobilize STL, where contractors and suppliers can begin to get information, complete the questionnaire to become engaged with RISE CDFI and learn more about the program. Our plan is to have that launched later this year, anticipated right now for September. However, that will be dependent on our ability to partner with RISE to finalize the legal documents and the compliance associated with the American Rescue Plan Act funding. So that is still under consideration, but that program again is being underwritten by RISE CDFI. So SLDC, LDC is not underwriting those transactions. The last program that you asked about, Mr. McCreary, is the North City Grant Program. SLDC had recently announced, I guess it was late last month, I think it was June 28th, just over 400 businesses receiving $30 plus million across 4 different programs that we made available for the grants. One was just the technical assistance and capacity building. We received over 700 applications, approximately $700 million for $33 million that we had available for funding. And what we noticed in many of those applications, the budgets, the profit and loss statements, the balance sheets, the grant applications when they were completed, recognizing these are for-profit businesses that are seeking grant funding, which is really unique, that a lot of the information that they provided up front was not really feasible for us to make a determination of if they qualify, because they just needed more support of actually being able to complete that application. So we put in a program for $5,000 for every applicant that was eligible in North St. Louis City, that if they went through the technical assistance and capacity building programs, they would automatically receive $5,000. That was the smaller pool. And we also had a program for stabilization. Stabilization was a first come, first served basis. It was $15,000 for every applicant. If you were an eligible business in North St. Louis City, you can opt in and say, I just want to stabilize my business. And so we offered $15,000 for each one of those businesses. We had about 97 of those businesses opt in to that program on the first come, first served basis. And as of July, right before the holiday, before the 4th of July holiday, we had a grant signing ceremony where we had about 50 businesses come in and complete those grant agreements, and the funding of that $15,000 have went directly into their accounts. And through that program, though, for all 97 businesses that opted in, there's a viability assessment that's conducted by our partners. They go out to the business, verify their tax returns, verify the place of business. They do a site visit, as well as ensuring that we have an affidavit that the business is operating appropriately and they have their license, which means that they have an updated license with the license collector office and they're up to date on their taxes. So all of those things are verified prior to those grants being released. We then subsequently had a program for operational expansion that went up to $125,000. We had businesses that had 1 to 5 employees, 10 to 20 employees, and then some that had more than 25 employees. Based on the number of employees that the business either currently has on staff or looking to expand into, they would qualify from a minimum of 20,000 all the way up to 125,000. And so we distributed grants to those businesses based on either the number of employees they have today or the number of employees they plan to have. When I say if they are planning to have, say 50 employees, but today they can only verify 10, we would not release those funds to that business until they can verify that they have, 50 or however many employees that they said that they will have on payroll. So when we put out those announcements, there was still additional diligence that will be conducted and is being conducted right now before we enter into a formal grant agreement and disperse those funds for that program. We then have projects that meet the facade program. The facade program was up to $100,000 for businesses that were seeking to improve their facades. Again, that same process, we went through a scoring process. We had 9 total reviewers. Every application that went through that program was graded by 3 different evaluators to make sure that not only were we grading these projects on an objective basis, but also a objective and subjective basis. And so as we were evaluating those projects, we scored them based on the criteria that we set. Are they located on a commercial corridor? Do they meet a community need or provide a community amenity? And those sort of decisions were made, and we starting to award those funds as well. But once again, we have to conduct the viability. We are
Sure.
also reviewing and ensuring that if they have a bid, that they share those bids with us to confirm the dollar amount for those contracts that they're paying out for those grants. SLDC is administering that program. And we had the final group fell in the community enhancement and community need. These were the larger development projects that we considered catalytic for the community, ranging from new grocery stores being developed to business incubators, to new major retail coming along those commercial corridors, to mixed use projects that are coming along those major corridors in North St. Louis City. And again, had criteria that we set for grading and scoring those projects. So when we made the announcement on the 28th, there was, a lot of excitement from the businesses that were awarded, but also we confirmed and verified with those businesses is that because you were, awarded the funds, there's still a process that we go through, a diligence process that we have to go through before they can actually be funded. Again, verifying budgets, verifying the business is located where they said they are, verifying that business is up to date with the license collector and collector of revenue. And we will not fund those projects until we've done that vetting on the compliance side. So that's a quick overview, Mr. McCrary, on the North St. Louis grant program. Coming into a code, I'm sorry, I don't have all the numbers right in front of me, but
No, that's fine.
this all day, every day. But I know there was some initial concern around, like, this is a lot of money going out the door. How are we protecting ourselves? And when we made the announcements, they were just that, announcements, but there's additional verification, diligence, and compliance that we have to do on our end and provide that ongoing reporting to our Community Development Administration, the U.S. Treasury, and then ultimately the City of St. Louis. So we're doing that work on our end at SLDC with our staff across the board. So I appreciate the question, and I'm available to answer any other questions that the board members may have.
Well, I really appreciate your detail involved in it and the due diligence in being involved. And personally, I think you all are to be congratulated as you move forward with businesses that would have been in areas that have been largely ignored by the city in the past. And I was just curious about it, and am pleased with the activity that are going on with it. So, I was just as we sit listening to these, are going through and approving these type of votes. I was just wondering what was happening with the other ones. So,
No,
thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate it. Appreciate the questions. Thank you.
And Neil, do you define North City as north of Highway 40? Is that?
No, so there was legislation in the legislation for the North City Grant Program. There were boundaries set, and that was north of Delmar was the boundary to the city limit, and then I believe it was. I have to go back and look at the legislation. I don't want to misstate here, but I know it went to the city limit on the west. I can't recall the east boundary. It may have been Jefferson, but I'll have to go back and double check director sites.
Any other questions for Neil? And again, to echo what Dave said, thanks for the update on that. Sounds like there's a lot going on.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it. And one of the other programs that recently launched is the Home STL program, providing homeowners with home buyer assistance up to $50,000. I want to get away from using the down payment assistance because down payment assistance usually only cover the closing costs, title fees, those sort of things. But the home buyer assistance, because the dollar amount is up to $50,000, is also being utilized to pay down a portion of the mortgage as well. So it's able to allow individuals at 80% of the area median income or below to access homes at a rate in which their mortgage payments plus principal, in principal, interest and principal, or below 30% of their income on a monthly basis, which is the goal when we talk about affordable housing. Now, low income housing, but affordable housing, is that everyone pays 30% or below for housing expenses. So that's also launched on our website, developstlouis.org /home STL. And we have approved 6 mortgage lenders, I believe now to this point, for that program, because we won't direct or steer any homeowner towards those programs. However, we want to ensure that the products that are being offered in partnership with our home buyer assistance program meets Freddie and Fannie regulations, HUD regulations and requirements, and that we're evaluating and ensuring that we're not incentivizing predatory lending to take place in this manner either. And I know Director Gilbert has been a champion for us potentially getting into the mortgage space one day. One day we can all aspire, but I also appreciate her contributions at the SODC Board of Directors, because I think one of her first questions she asked was, who is doing the underwriting on these projects, and why can't LDC just do it? Because we have here. But recognizing the volume of the small business loans and the type of loans, just ensuring that we have strong partners like St. Louis Community Credit Union, RISE CDFI, with that experience to underwrite and provide their ongoing reporting. We felt comfortable moving in that direction, rather than having to burden the board with a kind of a one-time use of funds that is really not focused on how we underwrite at LDC. So that was why we took that direction, opposed to bringing that amount of funding to the LDC board. But just know Director Gilbert is always advocating for LDC.
So how much money is a homeowner assistance fund, Neil?
So it's $4.5 million total. So we're anticipating up to at minimum 90 homeowners to participate in the program. The way that the program works is it's $40,000 if you're not moving into a HUD qualified census tract, and up to another additional $10,000 if you move into a HUD qualified census tract. So again, this is another way to also incentivize people to move into the city, because we have a supply and a demand issue when it comes to housing. So working both sides of that equation is important for us.
So are you seeing some development around the NGA site?
Yeah, so we have actually one of the housing development projects that we're working on, Hebert, is just I guess just west of Grand. That we're building about 20 new homes there. We also are in conversations with the 6 Project Connect neighborhoods surrounding NGA to finalize the neighborhood plans for the end of this year to be adopted into the strategic land use plan. We have a new development plan that's been put in place by the St. Louis Place neighborhood, as well as Jeff Vanderloo, that granted rights to the Land Clearance Redevelopment Board, which is another board of SLDC, eminent domain rights, and our right to acquire property that has been sitting vacant, dilapidated, and nuisance. Not being able to move on eminent domain for occupied structures, whether it's a home or a residence or a business, but giving us the ability to hold those developers and owners accountable that have been land banking for over a decade and not really moving towards redevelopment that works in benefit with the community. But we are working diligently every day, meeting with NGA on an ongoing basis to ensure that we're supporting their needs and getting the city ready for that area of the city ready for the 3,500 new employees that will be coming to that location. If you drive up and down Jefferson and Cass, I don't see Rob or on this call, but he's very proud of all of the big infrastructure projects that are going on. I know it used to be tough going up and down that street with potholes and other challenges, but now you see nice medians that are being built, new roads that are being paved to be able to, again, be prepared for the new development coming. And we also look forward to other, commercial development working alongside that site as 2026 becomes near, as NGA plans to have the property completed by the end of next year and all of their employees in by the end of 2026.
All right. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you all. Appreciate it.
All right. Assuming that we do not need to go into a closed session. So looks like the next meeting is scheduled for August 8th. And if there's nothing else for the good of the order, I'll accept a motion to adjourn the meeting.
So moved.
All
Director
right.
Gleat.
Second.
All right, it's been moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
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 All right, no opposed, I presume. So look forward to seeing everybody next month.
Have a great. Bye.
Okay.
Thank you all.
Thanks.